Hello, amazing ladies, and welcome to the HerStory podcast. I'm your host, Kylie King, and I'm the founder of Australian Ladies in Business Initiative. And today I am so excited to be joined by the amazing Rebecca Wakeham from the Dyslexic Clinic. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Kylie. Thanks for having me on.
So let's get started. Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what your business is about.
Yeah, so I am an educational consultant specialising in dyslexia support. So I help children who are aged 6 to 16 to gain confidence and develop lifelong literacy skills, even if they've been reluctant learners in the past. So I do this through one-on-one online tutoring, and I am soon to launch two programs, one called Reading Readiness, which is aimed at preschool age children and helping them to develop all of the necessary pre-reading skills that they need to become a successful reader when they start school or start to learn to read. And my second program is called the CODE program. So CODE standing for confidence, opportunity, decoding, and encoding. And that is to equip parents with the practical resources and know-how that they need in order to be able to help their dyslexic child at home without needing in-depth knowledge of the English language. So while my business is only relatively new, being my second year in, I have been educating children for over 20 years, both in early childhood education and primary education. So yeah, I'm just absolutely passionate about helping children to learn.
Wow, it sounds like you have so many amazing projects coming up, and you've done in such a short time in this business, but
Yes.
to bring all that amazing experience in to deliver such an important thing, because learning to read and write is so important.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lifelong skill. If you don't develop those skills when you're young and it's supposed to be taught, then it affects you long term. And I know people develop strategies to compensate for that, but it really is one of those foundational skills that's so important.
Yeah, no, I have a 7-year-old who is not a fan of writing. So I understand how much it is important to sort of go, well, this is something that's going to affect you. So it's important to get them to starting their reading and writing journey as early as possible. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what got you started? What made you take those 20 years of experience and go, I'm going to start the Dyslexic Clinic?
Well, it was actually during the second lockdown, where parents were forced to do home learning again, that I had a friend reach out to me and ask for some strategies, tips, tricks, just desperate wanting to know how to help their dyslexic child to understand and learn the content that had been sent home for her to teach. So it was kind of at this time that I realized that despite being, a formerly qualified teacher with over 10 years experience in primary schools, that I actually couldn't really provide any strategies around dyslexia. So yeah, I really felt quite devastated that I wasn't able to help my friend and her child, because I felt that I should be able to, with all of my qualifications, training, experience, I should really know how to help, and I didn't. So I kind of swallowed my pride and admitted that I didn't know what I could suggest, and I said I'd get back to them with some strategies that would help. So I reached out to someone who has been working with dyslexic children for over a decade. Her name is Rebecca Wakeham. And she was really generous and kind, and giving me her time to kind of provide some strategies and tips that I could pass on to my friend and to help her child. And it was during our chat that I asked Becky a little bit more about the tutoring that she does for children with dyslexia. And Becky gave me some really good information around the approach that she uses, and told me, how it's different to what I had been teaching within schools and what majority of schools are using, and how it's really necessary for children with dyslexia to help them to learn to read and spell. And Becky also told me that there was a real shortage of specially trained tutors for children with dyslexia. And, so there's a real gap in the market here. And, here I was feeling bad about not being able to help one child when there were thousands of other children out there missing out on the intervention and the support that they needed. So after our chat, I ended up looking into further training opportunities, and I ended up completing intensive training in the Yoshimoto Orton Gillingham approach. And I've since gone on to complete more advanced study in structured literacy. And I've become one of the people who are, having a positive impact for children with dyslexia. And it's just absolutely so rewarding in so many ways. So it's made me realize that it was definitely the right business opportunity to take up.
That's awesome. And just a quick shout out to Becky for not being a gatekeeper.
Yes.
Going, cool, Rebecca, thanks for asking the question. I'm going to answer all of these questions for you. That's amazing. I love when women do that. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was very refreshing to be able to chew her ear for so long and get tips and tricks. And we're still keeping contact now and supporting each other. So Becca was just wonderful.
Beautiful. So what has been your biggest challenge so far in your business?
So I'd really say that there's just kind of not enough hours in the day to help everyone that needs the support. And, it's really heartbreaking to have to turn away a parent who's desperate to get help for their child, which is kind of why I am diversifying my offerings so that I don't have to put anyone in that position where it's just, I'm sorry, there's a wait list, or, it delays getting help for their child. So with the code program, the parents will be able to feel supported, to be able to help their child at home to become successful readers and writers. So the other challenge, I guess, is pretty quiet and private person, just naturally. So kind of having to step out of my comfort zone and put myself out there more so people know about me and what I do and how I can help. That's been really hard for me, actually. So I think coming on your podcast actually has been one step in the right direction to kind of increase my visibility and confidence, and also to help, I guess, potentially help other ladies in business who also a little bit nervous about putting themselves out there so people know what they can offer them. So if I can do it, anyone can.
It tends to be standing in our own way, even unintentionally. But you're doing great. You're here, as you mentioned on the podcast, and just even showing up in the Australian Ladies in Business group boosts your visibility because the other ladies start to know and see. And it's the small ways. I think it's always the small steps. I think when people get in business, they would immediately think, oh, get visibility, I need to do something, shock and horror. I need to really just push myself out there. But it's just taking those little steps and the opportunities that come your way, just saying yes to them. It all sort of creates that momentum that people then start to see you and recognize you and then refer you on, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's right. And the your Facebook group as well is great. Everyone is helpful and supportive with each other. And I like catching up with some of the things that you're doing in there.
Yeah. So what has been your biggest achievement so far?
Obviously helping children learn and grow and, develop confidence in their skills, their literacy skills rates very high on my achievement list. But business related, I would say that, so from the time that I first started taking students on, within a 10-week period, I was fully booked. And that's without me kind of having any idea about marketing and advertising and things like that. And so since then, I have an over 95% retention rate for my one-on-one tutoring lessons. So I feel that really shows the value and the quality of the service that I provide to maintain that level of re-enrollment. And also, after spending a lot of time and effort getting my 2 programs kind of close to launch around my one-on-one lessons. And also I've got my own young children. So that has definitely been a feat. So to get to where I am now, which is almost ready to put it out there into the world, yeah, I'm incredibly proud of that too.
5% retention rate is amazing. Good
Yeah.
on you. That's fantastic.
Thank you. It is kind of, so my tutoring is different to traditional tutoring that most parents may know about. It is more long-term intervention support. So obviously I still need to be offering a quality service and parents and children getting the results that they have, are aiming for. So yeah, it is long-term, but no, I'm happy to be working with a lot of the same children and their families.
So what helps you get out of bed in the morning? So you don't need your coffee, you can just roll out of bed and keep doing your business.
Oh, well, I love just kind of being like a lifeline to children and their families as well, because it affects everyone. And yeah, just really being able to not only give them the necessary skills for reading and spelling, but just hope as well, hope that they can learn and they can feel optimistic about their future. And, there are opportunities that they may not have considered once possible. So, seeing children that I start working with moving from feeling really low and hopeless to picking up any book they want, and reading it, finding enjoyment in writing. Yeah, it's just great. And sometimes there's also that flow-on effect in academic results as well for those children as well. So I also love that I'm exclusively online with my tutoring. So that means that I am able to provide support for children who live in regional or remote areas of Australia, and even internationally. So, I love that I can help these children who otherwise wouldn't have had any access to any support locally because of their location. So that's really important to me. I have quite a few students who do live in kind of regional or remote areas. So that's something that I'm really proud of. And I think also just I love that I can help the parents of the children that I work with as well. So, who've kind of felt at a loss to help their child with dyslexia, or maybe let down by a school having, not enough support for their child or expertise even. So, as a mother myself, I know we just want our children to be happy and succeed and have opportunities and just really reach their full potential. And when I hear from grateful parents and I get their feedback from them, and they're just so happy about the positive influence that I'm having on their child's life, it's just really rewarding and just validation that I am doing the right thing. This was definitely the right thing to do, and definitely helps me get out of bed every morning and want to continue to provide that to them and their children.
Beautiful. That is a great reason. You don't need coffee then. You can just
I don't drink coffee.
Well, there you go. You don't drink coffee. You can just roll out of bed.
Okay. Yeah.
So is there any advice you wish you were given before you started your business? Like anything you wish someone had said, Rebecca, maybe don't do that, or maybe do this instead?
Yes. Well, I mean, Becky did get me off to a great start. And so I've been trying to also pass that on to others. So I've been helping people interstate, or even as far as America. I've had a meeting with someone there who wanting to start a tutoring business, and just trying to kind of get their head around how to actually start. So I'm trying to pass that on. But I would have to say that advice I wish I'd been given is it's hard to learn all of the other things that are not kind of your main service that you're offering, but are still important to run a business and necessary to run a business. So I've had to kind of learn accountancy, advertising, messaging, marketing, website design, like all of these other things that have definitely not come easy to me. So I've found it really helpful to kind of invest in business coaches or do group programs that kind of coach you through, especially the things that are not my strong points, that I'm not particularly good at. And yeah, that's just kind of helped me to learn to get it right the first time. So I'm not wasting valuable time having to kind of go back and do it again. So I did learn that the hard way to start with. And then I've just realized there's other people who can do this much better than me, and take that load off a little bit more. So that's definitely some advice that I think is worth considering when starting your own business or even running your own business.
We aren't good at everything, unfortunately. Yes. And sometimes we do not, there's other people out there with amazing genius zones that we can then, use their knowledge to either use or even in some instances outsource, so that you can keep doing this amazing tutoring and someone else can worry about the accounts.
Exactly.
Or marketing or whatever else it is.
Yeah, that's right.
That is really good advice. And I think when you first start your business, you want to sort of be across everything and be the best at it. But sometimes it just doesn't work out or fit. So
no, that's right. And it is a little bit of trial and error. But again, if you can get off to the right start from the very beginning, it takes a lot of load off day-to-day stresses.
Yeah. And then you can keep doing the fun stuff.
Yes, exactly.
So if you want to share, what is your ultimate goal for your business? Like the big, hairy, scary goal?
So, well, I just really want to help as many children and families as possible. And, whatever that may look like, whether it's national reach, international reach, I'm kind of just really driven to make that happen. So I love working with children in my one-on-one lessons. So I can foresee me doing that long term. And yeah, I really think that the reading readiness and code program are going to make a real difference for people and have a positive impact for them as well. So I'd love to see those, take off and flourish. But, even just kind of working with other businesses and organizations, schools, policymakers, just on, to advocate for children with dyslexia, to make sure that they're getting the support that they need, and making sure that everything is inclusive and, they can access what they need to be able to thrive.
It's a beautiful goal. That's awesome. So the next part I was going to ask you is about a tip. So because your genius zone is tutoring and you have a vast range of experience, is there a tip you'd give the parents that might be listening that could help their children, whether they have dyslexia or not, to maybe help or encourage them to read or write more? Yeah,
so I think it's worthwhile definitely knowing that there is help out there. And just because, your child or someone else you may know hasn't had the best start or had a lot of success, it doesn't have to be that way. No matter what age, there is the ability to learn to read and spell well and gain confidence back. So yeah, I think just kind of making sure that they have that awareness. And yeah, it's really probably a quite different approach to what children have been learning at most schools, I'd have to say. And so it does require kind of intensive change and difference to happen, but it definitely is possible.
I think that's so important, awareness. Once you're aware of things, that's when, the work can start happening, because if you don't know. So that's a great tip.
Yeah.
So where do we stalk you? How can we find you?
So my website is thedyslexicclinic.com.au and Facebook, the Dyslexic Clinic. So on my Facebook page, I regularly post helpful information, tips and recommendations. So yeah, I'd love if give me a follow over there, and you can keep updated with everything I provide there. And that's it. I haven't branched into any other social media just yet, because getting onto Facebook was a big enough hurdle for me. So yeah, that's it.
So that's brilliant. So if they want to stalk you, they can check you at Facebook at the Dyslexic Clinic, give you a follow. They can also check out your website.
Yeah.
And of course, they can find you in the Australian Leaders in Business group.
Yes.
And I'll put all of the links below so that they can easily just click and get there. And thank you so much for joining me today and sharing the amazing work that you're doing with children with dyslexia.
Thanks, Kylie. It's been a real pleasure to chat with you today. And yeah, I hope that my experiences kind of help other ladies in business and inspire them to pursue their passions as well.
Thank you. I'm sure they will.